Hello to you today. My yard has so many flies. It's a beautiful yard filled with fruit trees and grapes and gardens, but the flies are crazy at this time of year. So for some reason, I think that they don't like it under here as much as they do everywhere else. So I'm hiding out in this little grape hutch that we have and making this video for you. I might end up having to share this in multiple chunks just because I lately have been running out of space when I film longer videos on my phone. So, you know how that goes. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. But, well, so I have been thinking about all these different ideas that I have for videos that I've wanted to make recently, because I have so many things to share and so many things to talk about and go deeper into. And what really feels right to me today is what feels the most relevant, which is what do we do and where do we go when we're in one of those times where it's just not flowing? And for me right now, the reason that this is relevant is because, well, a couple things. First of all, I'm in a place in my life now where I feel a deeper sense of inner security than I've ever felt in my entire life. And along with that deep sense of inner security and really being able to make my inner world my home and trust the process of life and trust that I am being lived and really be in that flow state where the opportunities are coming to meet me at the right time and all of that. Along with that is this process of things degrading that aren't really there for my highest good. So my understanding of things has come from my experience and the people who I've been able to share my life and my experience with. And with that, I also understand that my understanding is always evolving. I don't have the full picture, and I never will. There will never be a time in my life where I completely understand my life. And that's just what it is to be a human being. So I find myself saying, why though? Like, I want to understand this so that I can create something different, or so that I can, be able to release this or move into this or whatever. It's all about this constantly evolving creation process. And the truth is, I only know what I know so far, and it's all subject to change, really, because we grow and our filters shift. And the way that I would have explained this 10 years ago would be really different than how I explain this now. And honestly, 10 years ago, I would have never been able to sit in this position where I have my sense of inner security intact despite what's going on in my outer manifested reality. So let's just dive in and talk about it. I want this to be a space where we can be really honest and vulnerable with each other. And I'm seeing that that's really what's required of me in order to be able to show up in authenticity, is to take the shame out of being in the position that I'm in, because I don't feel ashamed. I would have in the past. I would have felt a lot of shame around not being responsible. And I know now that my responsibility is so much deeper than where I had placed it before, because before, responsibility looked to me how my parents had explained it. It's responsible if you do X, Y, and Z and make sure that X, Y, and Z are in place and and create this external structure of security that you can rely on until something happens that's unexpected and for whatever reason it goes away. Like, for example, we all know people who have their external security linked to their job, and then they lose their job for whatever reason. It might not be their fault at all. It may be a layoff or just, the shifting of what's needed in the community. But it happens. And we don't live in communities that tend to rise up and support us when we're in those times of transitions and create bridges for us, which we should. That's what we should be building with each other and for each other. And I do put my energy out into that space so that I am able to create and provide bridges for other people when they're in those times of transition. Because what makes us responsible isn't if we've done X, Y, and Z according to plan and according to the map and the rule book. What makes us responsible is how responsible we are to our inner mission. And in order to do that, we don't fully even have to know what it is that we're going to do in our lives. We don't have to know this is exactly what my mission is and this is what it's going to look like over time. We don't have to know that. What we have to have is an intention to connect with ourselves internally, an intention to get oriented with our intuition, our internal compass, and an intention to be spiritually guided and to be in touch with all the aspects of ourself and really allow a space for our full experience to be able to live. It's just outdoor things getting stuck to my face from this great putt. So what's responsible is really being responsible to spirit or to God or to whatever word you use for your higher power, responsible to life, and aware of, even if it's just a little tiny mustard seed of awareness, aware of the fact that life is living us, that we are a part of this larger connected structure, and that when we go into a fear state, we cut ourselves off from that. We become a cancer. Because again, a cancer, I've talked about this in other videos before too. A cancer is a part of the body that loses its instruction from the whole. And instead of being a contributing part of the overall system, it becomes something that just does its own thing and no longer is able to contribute or be in the flow state of the organization of the whole organism. So that's what we do. If we cut ourselves off and we allow ourselves to be ruled by that constriction and that fear, we're no longer in our heart space. We're no longer centered in our intuition. We're no longer open to receiving the exact prayers that we're putting out. So in my past, when I've been in a place that I consider to be crisis, I go into fear. I go into, oh my God, I'm not living up to my responsibilities. I must be just this and this, and I wonder if I'm ever going to be this and that, and who knows if this is going to come to support me or meet me, and what am I doing wrong, and why am I not able to manifest this, and where can I find these answers, and what do I have to do more of, and how can I grind it out until I get there, and I need to work harder, and I need to do more, and I need to offer more, and all of those things. That's what comes up because that's what we've learned, and that's okay. It's okay that that's what we've learned. But it puts us in a position where we really get an opportunity to look inward and go, is this thought patterning coming from a space of openness and trust and intuition and expansion? Or is it coming from a place of constriction and fear? And if it's coming from fear, then that's an opportunity to redirect. So today, when my partner and I sat down with a piece of paper and we said, we don't have any money. What are we going to do? We have responsibilities. We have people and animals that we're responsible for. And we don't have the money to do the things that we need to do in order to care for them or for ourselves. We don't have the money that we need, but yet we do have lots of other things that we can look around and be very, very grateful for. So that's one stabilizing piece. What do I have? What can I be grateful for? What resources may be able to come together for me that aren't this one that I've been looking toward for the answer? Because there have been so many times in my life, more than I could ever even put in one video, where money hasn't been the path to the answer. I've thought, like, I need enough money to do this way, and that's the only way. And what's actually happened is something else, really synchronistic. Like, somebody else has exactly what I need and they want to give it to me for whatever reason. Or the pieces line up and instead of needing the thing that I thought that I needed, it's already taken care of and I am free to not even think about it, you know? So things do come together in lots of ways. And if you're in a place like I am where you're really, really working on all your money stuff and your money trauma, then you can go into those other places and remember that some of those channels are open and things can flow into you from those channels. So your support is able to come to you from whatever channels you have open, even if your money channels aren't totally open yet. So me, I am coming from a past where I'm carrying the traumas still of my parents who really did not have the money that they needed and all the scarcity mindset that they've given me. And I know that I'm in that process of unraveling all of that and being able to build a new life and a new reality for my children and for you and for your children and for everyone. That's my responsibility. My greatest responsibility is to be aligned with my mission, which is to go, okay, I'm actually a really incredibly powerful creator that has the creative life force of spirit, of the ultimate creator, of God, flowing through me and living me. So if I can commit to opening up my channels and living from my heart space and getting in touch with my intuition and letting go of all the fears as they arise, I'm going to create a world for my children that doesn't make them grind and work and work and work and work to the bone until they die. Because that's what my ancestors learned and that's what they did. And I'm not willing to do that. I work hard. Don't get me wrong. I do. I have a lot of energy and I do a lot of work. And the work that I do is inspired work. That is where it is right to put my energy because I value myself and I value my time and I value the work that I do. So I do inspired work and I do my very best not to fall into fear and compromise on that. Although sometimes I do compromise on that. And every time I compromise that, I get myself into a mess. It's the karma of it. When you do something that's not in alignment with your soul or your heart, you create something that you have to climb out of. It just every single time it'll happen and it'll reorient you to like, oh yeah, that's right. I should do things that feel like yes. I should do things that feel in alignment with me and my spirit and my soul. So that's my responsibility, is to do that and to show you like, look, this is what I'm doing and this is going to work out. And you'll see as my journey unfolds over time, over years, that this works out, right? So I know that. And that is the faith that I have, that and the trust that I have, that everything that I'm being given is just something that opens me up more on my path and centers me even more on my path. So that's all good stuff. However, it's a very potent moment for me right now, a potent moment of, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. I don't know how I'm going to support and feed all of these beings that rely on me for that. They rely on me to be able to bring those resources through me and through my open channels. So there's a lot going on there, right? But in the past where I would have gone into shame, I'm now in a space of thinking about it differently. So again, my partner and I, we sit down, we have this piece of paper and we're like, all right, how are we going to frame this, first of all? And what I wrote down on that paper, and maybe I'll share a photo of it with you later, is this is not a crisis. This is a moment of redirection. I'll say that again. This is not a crisis. This is a moment of redirection. This is another moment to choose. First of all, what are we going to choose? Are we going to choose to be in fear, or are we choosing love and trust and faith and being in a space of openness and knowing that this is a part of our journey, that this is an opportunity to share something, to give something, to go out in the world and to do love, and that we will receive what we need. Whatever we need might not look the way that we think that it should, right? It might not. It might be shifts that come in and clear out the cupboards and act like a storm rather than something that's sweet and gentle and feels supportive in that way. Maybe. I don't know. Because I'm learning as I go. But what I do know is that in the past when I would have gone, this is a crisis, what am I going to do? And kind of freaked out and constricted, now I'm open. And now I'm saying, okay, what am I going to do? Waiting for the guidance to come in. Open to the communication of spirit, which I know I'm completely threaded in with. This is a web, and you're a part of the web, and I'm a part of the web, and together we create. So what can I create? Is there anything now that wants to be birthed through me? Is there anything that I can offer? Or is this a moment to relax and to receive and to be in that position of receptivity and to allow whatever resources, whatever channels I have open for resources to bring that through? And that's the biggest part of what I'm learning is to, instead of being in the masculine imbalance of do, go, grind, how do I receive? How do I allow time and space for my dreaming to really set the stage and be in that receptive space to allow all these gifts that spirit has to offer me to really come through me and be birthed through me? How do I do that? So that's my life's work and what I've been doing thus far through my music, through the healing that I offer to other people, through the content that I'm creating, through the way that I'm living and interacting with people when I go out and walk my dog and bring my kids to the playground, and the way that I am on the phone when my phone service stops and I don't know why and I'm irritated, but I'm not gonna express that out on somebody else, right? So learning the emotional regulation, learning I am responsible for my money. I am money. I am the currency. I am God's currency. I am the one that abundance flows through. I am the one who opens the channels. I don't have anybody else to be mad at. And I'm not going to be mad at myself, because what's that going to do? That's a crisis mentality, and that's not where I am. So in this moment now, I want to share really honest with you. I am in this moment of intense change, of intensity, of pressure, and of accepting the invitation to open into that and create more space so that instead of it feeling like pressure, it really feels like a moment of redirection and a moment of change. So I want to know from you, what do you do when you're in moments like this? Is there anything that we can work together on? Where can we create more space and more trust and more fluidity? Is there anything, any tools that you use in your life that help you stay centered in abundance when you're in a place where some of those channels are closed? And how do you speak to yourself? What's that narrative look like? How does this work for you in your life? Because I'm sharing with you, this is how it's working for me in my life right now. And you're going to see as I go how it continues to shift. And I'd really love to know, would you like me to share more of this journey with you? Because I've been documenting this journey for about 10 years, but I've just recently gotten to the point where I feel steady enough within myself to really start to be able to share it. Because it does take an incredible amount of vulnerability. I have created songs also that go into this more, that talk about all this, like House on the Hill and Money Trees. And you can find those. They're out there. Just look up Mama Rose House on the Hill or Mama Rose Money Trees on any of the streaming platforms or on Bandcamp if you want to actually pay for my music, which would be cool. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I want to hear from you. I want to do this together in community. And I just want this moment to be something that I can offer, that it's not something that I'm going through alone, right? It's something that we're all going through. And that's why it is worth it for me to show up and do this work, is because I want my journey to be something that is inspiring, that allows change to occur for others, because I know that the perspective that I have is such a gift. The way that I see the world is such a gift that it can really open things up for other people who are listening. So that's what I'm here to do for you today. And I would love to keep the conversation going. Again, as always, let me know if you'd like to use any of the channels that I have created for assistance and abundance to flow both to me and to you, which are one-on-one work. You can hire me to speak at your events. You can ask me to create a verse or do some singing or songwriting for you for anything that you're working on. You can see if there are any other creative things that I'd like to contribute. You can hire me for a consultation if you want to talk about yourself and your own journey, if that's creative journey or business journey. What else? There's a lot on my website on the offerings page and on the contact page. I would love to collaborate in any way that feels aligned for both me and for you. So reach out and we can do that. And with that said, I know that I'm solid, and I know where I'm going is a beautiful place, and it's a beautiful journey, and I'm excited to share it with you. And I hope that you can just find that little seed within yourself that says the same thing today. So this is Mama Rose signing off from this adorable little gray putch, and I hope you have a great day regardless of what's going on in your world. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.